Big days feel productive. Small days build progress. Effort-driven work feels powerful in the moment. You wake up motivated. You decide that today will be different. You push harder. You work longer. You say yes to more. And sometimes it works. You get a lot done. You feel productive. You feel in control. But the next day is different. Your energy is lower. Your mood shifts. You hesitate. You delay starting. Progress slows down or stops. This is effort-driven work. It depends on mood. It depends on willpower. It depends on how you feel that day. The problem is not that effort is bad. The problem is that effort is unstable. When work depends on how motivated you feel, results become unpredictable. You get bursts, then you get gaps. You get intense weeks, then quiet ones. Over time, this creates volatility. Volatility looks like growth, then stagnation. Big pushes, then recovery periods. Momentum, then reset. For small businesses and solo operators, this is dangerous. Income becomes uneven. Output becomes inconsistent. Clients experience different levels of service depending on your energy. It also creates burnout. When progress slows down, the instinct is to push harder, work longer hours, add more tasks, increase pressure. But pushing harder increases fatigue. Fatigue reduces clarity. Reduced clarity increases mistakes. Now you are working more, but producing less. This is the hidden cost of effort-driven work. It feels heroic, but it is fragile. Now compare that to system-driven work. System-driven work does not depend on mood. It depends on a repeatable process. You do not ask, "Do I feel like starting?" You ask, "What is the next step?" The system answers that question for you. Starting becomes easier. In effort-driven work, starting requires energy and decision-making. In system-driven work, starting requires almost nothing. The steps are already defined. You open the document. You follow the structure. You complete the next small action. Fewer decisions are needed. Decision fatigue is real. Every small choice drains energy. What should I work on? Is this good enough? Should I change direction? In a system, many of those decisions are already made. The format is fixed. The workflow is clear. The standards are defined. This creates stability. Stability means output continues even on average days, not just good days. Do not need to feel inspired. You only need to follow the process. Over time, this creates predictable output. Predictable output builds trust. Trust builds income. Income reduces stress. This is not about becoming robotic. It is about reducing randomness. There is a common belief: if I try harder, it will work. Trying harder can create short-term results, but it does not solve structural problems. If the process is unclear, more effort only increases chaos. If priorities change daily, more effort increases confusion. Effort cannot fix a weak system. Another belief is that systems are only for big companies. That is backwards. Large companies can survive inefficiency. They have buffers. They have teams. Small businesses do not. For a freelancer or solo operator, inconsistency is expensive. One slow month can create pressure. One chaotic week can delay delivery. Small operators benefit more from systems because they have fewer margins for error. A simple weekly workflow, a defined content structure, a fixed client onboarding process. These are not corporate tools. They are stability tools. Systems do not need to be complex. They need to be repeatable. When work is system-driven, something changes mentally. You stop negotiating with yourself every morning. You stop asking, "Am I motivated enough?" You start asking, "Did I follow the process?" That shift reduces stress. You are no longer responsible for producing miracles. You are responsible for following steps. The system carries part of the weight. Over months, this compounds. Effort-driven work creates occasional spikes. System-driven work creates steady growth. Effort-driven work feels intense. System-driven work feels calm. Effort-driven work depends on who you are that day. System-driven work depends on what you built before. And the real difference shows up over time. One approach creates stories about hard weeks and big pushes. The other creates quiet, consistent progress. In unstable markets, consistency is an advantage. Not because it is dramatic, but because it is reliable. When your work depends on willpower, results are occasional. When your work depends on a repeatable system, results become expected. That difference is not about personality. It is about design. Effort creates peaks. Systems create a baseline. And a baseline is what scales.